A preacher was on his way home from a great revival he had in a Midwestern state. He got on the train and was heading back home to see his wife and kids and be reunited. And the train was nearly full, and he sat down beside a young man. He was only sitting there a few moments till he noticed the young man was very distraught and very anxious. Looked at him, and there was tears in his eyes. He said, "Son, I don't know what's going on," but he said, "I'm a preacher and a minister. I'd be glad to help you any way that I possibly can." The young boy gave him this message. He said, 2 years ago, I left home. I'd become so mean and hard and hateful in my heart. I went to drinking, and he said I was abusive to my mom and dad. And my dad told me, "Son, you'll have to leave home. I can't have that around here." He said, "I've been gone for 2 years, but," he said, "the other night I was walking by an old rescue mission, and I heard a song being played entitled Coming Home." He said, "I went in and gave my heart to Jesus Christ, and I was wonderfully saved." He said, "I told my mom and dad in a letter that I wrote them, I'd be on this here train heading home today. And if they were still alive and if they'd forgive me, I asked them if they'd stand out under the old apple tree and just take a white handkerchief and wave it." He said, "Preacher, I'm so scared that there won't be anything there." He said, "Would you look for me?" The preacher got up out of his seat and walked to the head of the coach, and he took his handkerchief and he wiped the window real clean, and he looked down, and the train turned the corner, and there came the old farmhouse into view, and sure enough, there was an apple tree, a whole orchard, in fact, and fenced down in front of the orchard. And he said, "Well, son, you don't have nothing to worry about at all. You can relax." He said, "There's a white rag in the apple tree." And he said, "That old apple tree's in complete bloom." He said, "There must be 24 white handkerchiefs in that apple tree, just a waving in the breeze." He said, "That's not all." He said, "There's an old gray-haired mother and dad standing under the apple tree with a bed sheet in their hand, a white bed sheet, and they're just waving it like crazy." And he said, "Son, that's not all." He said, "That fence down in front of the orchard there, it's got pillowcases on it all the way down through." He says, "All I can see is white rags blowing everywhere." The son boy was so happy, got off the train, thanked the preacher, and was reunited with his mom and dad. But that story leads me to make the application that we have all gone astray. We've gone, every one of us, to our own way. Sin is a corrupt, dreadful thing. It really is. It's enticing in the beginning, but it's a killer in the end. But thank God for the day when we met Jesus. Thank God for the day. And, I said, "Lord, can I come home?" And the white rag of his forgiveness and the white sheets of his forgiveness were waving. He said, "Son, you just come to the cross, and that'll be the door, and you can come on home." Friend, if you know Jesus today, you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, come home today. Dear Jesus, I ask you to save someone right now in your precious name. Amen and amen and amen.